few different things. Elle revealed to the group what she found. Um, while all this was happening, a scream was heard. We all kind of like booked it towards the scream, but before we did, Basil ripped a page out of Master Irma's book. And he just yelled like, "I'll explain it later. Let's go." We get there and we find that it is it Sage? Yes, is has been attacked and has clear signs of similar to how Apoc looks is like pale white or gray. It just looks like as if it's like the color has been sapped out of her skin and her fur. And all she can tell us is that it was some type of creature that was clacking with claws and red eyes, and then it just attacked her and then disappeared. I believe Mrs. Q saw the red eyes.
Yep, up on a different level, like on a.
Yeah, and then while getting off of the balcony where we found Sage, I think was it Aurora who like saw scratch marks along the outside of the avian building.
Yes.
And then uh, through all the commotion, we ended up in the
We met up with the dean, and the dean's
dean.
like, "This isn't the first time this has happened."
I was gonna say principal, but I was like, that's not the right word. What's it called? The dean.
Principal.
Into his office, and he started explaining that like this is not the first. This is the first time that something like this has happened to a student, but they've seen this creature before, or there have been sort of attacks of this creature before, and that he asked if we could help.
Yep.
And
also, Aurora made a fun friend.
I met an angel, and an angel that wants me to find the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
So that's a fun little juxtaposition.
Laying it on thick with that one. I was really proud of myself.
Yeah. It was good. But that's it. I think we ended in the dean's office.
Yeah, so some discoveries were made, some quite shocking from a book and some quite shocking in real life. And you all find yourself after a brief and very well-timed charm person with the security on campus. You find yourself in the dean's warmly lit office, books piled up quite haphazardly, blankets and throw pillows kind of all different colors, rainbow color just scattered across the floor. One wrapped tightly around Sage as she shivers underneath the blanket itself. The dean is kind of pacing back and forth after asking, essentially, almost begging for, oh my god, that mug.
I forgot that I use this mug here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was adorable. But the dean asking and begging for your help, because this is not the first strange occurrence that he has heard of. As he kind of paces back and forth, he takes a bit of a huff before very dramatically slumping down into a high-backed chair, right next to where Sage is currently sitting on the carpet, shivering under her blanket, and just kind of looks at you all, sort of rubs his eyes. It is far too late for this, but this is serious now. Our students are at risk here, so particular thing has not happened before, but we've had some very disturbing things come to my attention over the past little bit, and I had this feeling that they were all connected, but I can't really prove anything because nothing is actually there for right now. I know I realize that doesn't make sense. We were right in the middle of exam season. There's a lot going on. But there have been some disturbances to the student body as of late, and some of our professors have also noticed it as well. And whether it's bad omens from an augury charm, or it is shadows that seem to move on their own, there's been strange reports coming up from around, all with a similar dark thread, and didn't really pay any attention to it, but now he kind of looks and sort of gently pats Sage on the back as she just sort of bleary-eyed almost blinks back from her daydream. Her very, very big ears and big eyes kind of going glossy in the firelight a little. I really don't mean to worry you all about this. I know that you actually need to be back in Alderheart. Pulls out a little pocket watch. About an hour ago, we were supposed to have you back, but maybe you can come back. Maybe. Oh dear, we are in quite a pickle. You see him just sort of drift off for a second, kind of picking at the scales around his talons as he's just kind of thinking for a moment.
You don't happen to have anything that could buy us some more time?
That can buy you more time?
Yeah.
We can't go back in time. I suppose I could always just say that I could just message the council, but then that would be asking the council for a favor, and I don't know if they would be okay with that, but this is quite important, so.
Well, maybe we don't ask for a favor and just tell them we're coming back later. You can do that. You're a dean.
At that, you kind of just, he's a very floofy Luma, very pigeon-esque, but he's very floofy. And as you say that, his whole demeanor kind of just like shakes, and just his feathers start to floof up a little bit. Could do that. Does that mean you'd be interested in staying to help then? You'd help us with this? It is late. I don't know how much time I can buy you, but we can go back later. Perhaps I can buy you a day. Maybe a night. I'm not sure, but I can try. Like the avian can come. It's not like the council can really come and knock on our door and demand you all back. That would be fine as far as I'm concerned. That would be fine. That would be fine. So you'll stay? So you'll stay?
Sidebar. What's everybody thinking?
It means
Well,
like
Elle would look to Basil and say, "What do you think? This is your sister."
Basil will say, if it's all right with everyone, I would like to stay and protect my sister. Something is off here, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it.
You know, if Cam was here, he would say a hunt, whatever this thing is, a fiend hunt, a demon hunt, it'd be great through the night.
I think if Cam were here, he would say, "This is our chance to prank the dean." The crusty old dean has been getting after him for so long, but he's not here, and that's probably for the best.
This dean is not crusty and old. He's very floofy.
Looks pretty crusty to me. I mean, Cam. Looks crusty to Cam.
Mrs. Q would be down. Sorry, there is one fruit fly in this
just
house right
keep
now, and it keeps flying like.
Right. So we're constantly just like. Yeah.
Anyway, Mrs. Q would feel like if she can do something to help the next generation be safe, she would do it.
The next generation.
Yeah,
I love
the young
it.
folk, the little uns.
Oh boy.
Did you do us a favor, Dean?
Certainly, I can try.
I mean, Sage is kind of traumatized right now. Would you mind lending her your chair so she doesn't have to sit on the ground? Or maybe an infirmary bed?
We will get Sage to the infirmary. Her sister is being woken to to escort her there, along with some of our campus security, so that at least she has somebody. It's on the way.
Sage, when this happened to me, I went and spoke to some people for some help, and they gave me this stuff. Maybe it's something that I should pass on to you, keep you safe. It's supposed to ward them off and help protect you. And I just hand over this old bird's talon and this old like wooden cross.
What is this supposed to protect against?
The evil spirits, ones that did this to you.
Spirits.
Whatever like monster it was the same one.
Roll. Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Yeah. You handed her a talon.
Yeah.
And a wooden cross.
Yeah. It's a 12.
A 12. Yeah, she's traumatized.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was a monster. It wasn't a spirit. It was a monster because I saw it, and I know I saw it because it was clapping, and then the eyes, and then there were claws, and then I don't remember, but I saw it. It wasn't a spirit. It was. Were you cold too?
Yeah.
What does that mean? At this point, you hear a soft knock at the door before Basil, your other sister, Lemongrass, in kind of looking a little disheveled, almost like she had fallen asleep and the fur on one side of her face has been pushed and is very much in a cowlick situation as she's trying to straighten it out as the door opens. And as she takes in the scene and kind of looks around, looks over at Sage, she kind of runs over and drops to her knees and just kind of, hey, what's going on here? You look terrible. What did you do? To you, Basil.
Wow.
What, oh my god. What a response. Sage was attacked. We found her like this. The dean can explain it, but whatever it is, me and my companions, we will stay here and find out what it was.
She kind of looks over at the dean, who's just sort of nodding, just telling the truth, dear, and I will explain it all to you later in the infirmary. But take your sister and walk with the security to the infirmary, please. Sage kind of looks back, or sorry, Lemongrass kind of looks back and just picks Sage up, supporting most of her weight as Sage is clutching onto her robes that you can now see have just bulges for where your artifacts are on this tiny gerbine. She looks at you, Basil, and just kind of glares in your direction for escorting Sage out, followed by the Eagle security guard who sort of side-eyes you all, shakes his head before gently closing and locking the door as your sisters leave with the security guard.
Basil's just gonna let out like the biggest sigh of just like rubbing his head, like knowing just like he can't do anything right by his sisters. He's always just like messing up.
Why is she so mad at you?
There's a lot of history there. I left our family in a time of when they really needed me, and now that I'm back, well, let's just say there's a lot to make up for.
It sounds the opposite of what happened for me. My family left me.
Well, I'm sure if they had the chance, like me, they would do whatever they could to make up for it.
Yeah. I don't really know what else life would be like if they had stayed, but I don't know. Maybe we can learn from one another. I know what it's like to be left by a family, and you wouldn't know what it's like to come back to one.
Mm. You're
Him.
quite well. I think there's a
Quiet
lot
down, Dean. We're just
You might want to get started right away. I'm so sorry. Please
We're having a
continue.
moment.
crusty old Dean.
He takes very good care of his feathers, okay? Leave it alone. He's trying.
Constantly preening.
Yes. Don't mean to disturb. I mean, you never know, but we are getting up there in time, so if I might make a suggestion, a good place to start would be with our divination professor, who for a couple weeks now has been continuously seeing the same bad omen, and as one of the most impressive diviners that I have ever seen, he might be able to tell you a little bit more. He's usually performing some rituals around this time. Now that the stars are out, at least he can see that. He's in one of the upper classrooms, upper towers of the avium. He came to me a few weeks ago with some not so great visions that he's had, and perhaps they can at least shed some light on what's going on here. But there have also been some reports of students right before the exam season started, so about a week or two ago, who said that the shadows seem to be very strange, stranger than normal, particularly in the lower library. They seem to dance in a weird way, and of course we all thought it was just fatigue from studying, so we sent them off to the infirmary, and they seemed to be all right after that. But after the visions from our professor, I started to think a little bit deeper into it and look through some of my own books and my own knowledge, and well, it's starting to get a little bit concerning. And there. Wait, as he starts to shuffle across his desk before pulling out a scroll of paper. One of our students said that she noticed some of the servitor skeletons acting a bit strange lately. They're not supposed to act strange. They're just supposed to clean our avium and perform menial tasks to make sure our students have the best environment to learn in. And I haven't witnessed this myself, and we have no other reports of this, but it seemed along the same thread, so I wrote it down. And we have had reports of missing books and pages stolen and ripped out of books. That is not normal for a lot of this. Mostly from some of the upper library, as well as some of our professors' own collections, which is very, very odd. I don't know if it's all connected, but this seems like an escalation. Whatever you can find out, even if you give some evidence over to our campus security, that would be very helpful, and I will make sure that Elderheart knows that you're staying for a little bit extra time, obviously. And everyone will be able to assist you with whatever you need over the next, I guess, couple hours, and we'll make sure you have what you need, and anything you need.
We get badges or something, like something we can flash to security saying that we belong.
Yes. We do have the visitors' badges, as well as yeah. And what he pulls out is basically just like little pins that you can pin to your cloak. They're absolutely nothing special. They literally just say visitor on them. But he hands one out to each of you, and he says, "You can only get these from me, so security will at least be aware of who you are, and I'll be sure to try and let the captain know so he can let whoever else is on duty tonight know that you'll be poking about and to help you in any way."
Elle is so pumped about this pin.
It's got like some patina on the outside. Like, it's not used very often, but still there.
Oh, Apoc is already taking some of Dace's old tertiary feathers and just like giving a flourish of like big wings coming out the side of his.
Jeez.
Okay. Make a dexterity check. Let's see if they're indeed big wings.
I think it's a 9.
Yeah.
It's readily put together.
It's a little shoddy, but they still look like wings. I'll give you that. Might not hold very well, like one of the feathers just kind of like drops out of place as you pin it to your armor, but
yeah,
it looks really cool.
Mrs. Q asks the dean, have you seen any patterns in like the sorts of things that are going missing, or the sorts of places that these shadows are being seen? I noticed that there was pages missing in a book that I was looking at in the lower library today on a specific topic. I was wondering if there's any other patterns that you've noticed.
In the lower library? Every book in the lower library is always watched by Professor Mordain. I mean, to rip a page out of the lower library book is quite a feat. I would say so myself. They don't leave the lower library.
He was just as surprised as you. He was quite concerned, but he didn't have any recollection of anyone who had been using that book recently, so didn't know where to start looking.
And what was the topic that you were looking at?
The Scorched Grove.
Strange. Some of the missing books that have been reported have actually been reported from Professor Nightseed's office. She is our professor of necromancy here at the school. She is the one who is in charge of our servitor skeletons and ensures that they're able to do their duty, but she has reported missing books. As for the missing pages, they seem to be I can't quite remember what books they were taken out of, but he kind of like looks around. I think I took a couple from the main library here, and sort of pulls them out and puts them down in front of you. And you can see from kind of the tomes that are on the cover, they don't seem to be as restricted as the knowledge that you were initially looking at. They're your new editions of like textbooks, essentially. You do see some. One of the tomes is all about just conjuration magic, like an advanced guide to conjuration magic, essentially. And you can see some of the later chapters where it has been torn out, particularly around whoever wants to look through it, and you would have the time to note exactly where it is, since it's a nice book that's been laid out. It's around. Sorry, I'm blanking. Conjuration rituals and conjuration circles.
Ooh.
There seems to be a good chunk of the chapter that has been torn out with respect to that. And you do see another book as you're looking through that is all about the essentially the planes of existence, the known planes of existence aside from the material plane. And you can see that there is a section on creatures from other planes that seem to have been ripped out as well.
Elle will look at that book and kind of sit with Aurora, who I think has grabbed the other one.
Well, which one would you prefer? I'll take either.
I want to read about the planes.
Go for it.
While she's kind of looking through, she's gonna say to the dean, "Oh, I don't know what kind of person would rip a book. Is there any kind of punishment for students who tear pages out of books?"
Basil was like,
Not just students, but even like visitors.
Elle's just gonna say students. She's not trying to throw them under the bus, but she's.
No, Apoc's saying that.
I mean, absolutely. The tomes we have in our library are are old. They're usually added to by the authors if the authors are still alive, or by other people interested in the subject. You were the one that asked for your grandmother's dissertation, and your grandmother does come and add to that book quite often. I know she takes a lot of care. She's been studying it for years, as long as I can remember, since we were young.
Yeah, it'd be such a shame. It's still intact in the library, just in case you're wondering.
Mrs. Q wasn't around for the book ripping, so is very confused by the random animosity that seems to be blooming within our group, and so tries to bring the topic back to something a little more pressing.
I'd be like, Basil, what's wrong?
You can share at the same place.
So she asks the books that have had portions missing. These look like new additions to the textbook. Have you cross-referenced with old editions to see exactly what it is that they took, as opposed to just knowing what chapter it is? Or were these new chapters in the book, so they don't exist in the older editions?
Excellent question.
I mean, these are quite, they're your rudimentary textbooks. I mean, yes, they are more advanced, but they're not exactly, the knowledge isn't exactly hidden. We as you can see in this one, we know about elemental creatures, certainly, and the things in these books are not revolutionary by any means, and you can certainly find older editions in the main library if you so choose. Can't guarantee they're completely up to date, but our understanding of the planes are quite good as far as it goes. But as for conjuration magic, I mean, again, any specialist in conjuration would have a better understanding of things like rituals and circles and what you can do with conjuration magic. So I wouldn't say this knowledge is hidden necessarily. This is why it's very confusing, and I initially thought it was a student who was trying to cheat on a test, but I chalked it up with other weird things that were starting to happen that maybe it meant something a bit more. Doesn't quite surprise me with your Scorched Grove researches. The main hypothesis is that it was conjured there, so that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Did all of these things start happening at the same time? So did book pages going missing coincide with odd happenings? Did one start happening before the other?
The dean thinks for a moment and kind of scratches the lower part of his beak. First vision that Professor Ravane had, the diviner we have on staff, he mentioned that, that must be about 5 weeks ago or so, where he had his first strange vision. And then he had them more and more often when he came to me for it. The book pages, they were only reported to me about 3 weeks ago, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen before.
3 weeks?
And then the missing books from Professor Nightseed. That was far more... No, actually, that was also about 5 weeks ago that the book has been missing. I didn't think anything of it. It was exam season. Students do very strange things when it comes to exams. The pressure gets to them, and books have been known to go missing. To answer your question, I guess,
Right.
yes.
Perhaps not after this incident. This is something that we should look further into.
I would think so. Like I said, this seems like a bit of an escalation. And now that all of these maybe these strange things don't have anything to do with the other, but it would be at least worth investigating. Perhaps these ripped pages are nothing more than a stressed out student. And the missing book from Professor Nightseed is nothing more than that.
Would you say that some of the odd things that have been happening could have been caused by use or misuse of the content of the books that had been removed?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Andrea doesn't understand the question. Can you say it again?
Like the pages that have been ripped out, the stuff that's written on those pages, could you use that knowledge to then make these weird things happen?
You see the dean kind of look down. I'll get back to your insight now. You see the dean look down at the place where Sage was wrapped up in her blanket. Things with the servitor skeletons, things with shadows. Sure, shadows could be conjured to do something. There are creatures made of shadow. It does sort of cross a bit of a barrier between necromancy and conjuration, as well as a few other schools of magic, but the way Sage was describing the thing that attacked her, it very much seems like to be drained of color. That is not a conjuration effect. That is something, to the best of my knowledge, I was not an expert, but a little on the necromantic side.
You remember that thing that took over Ajax? You know, when we destroyed it. I think that was one of those things that drained the color of me. I don't think this is something new here created by students, brought here by students. I think these things are all over this world. I think there's a lot of them.
To answer your insight check on the dean, what did you roll?
It was a 17. It was more along the timeline of things. Like, was he being honest about the 3-5 week time span? Because that seems really weird to not have security do anything.
Mm-hmm. As the dean is talking with a 17, as the dean is talking, you get a sense that as he's thinking back on it, it's less of a feeling of he's hiding something and more of a feeling of he realizes he should have done something and didn't realize the pattern until now, kind of thing. So you get a touch of embarrassment.
We're dealing like a community dean.
This guy is cool. Leave him alone. Elle and Aurora, did you want to look at anything in the books you had grabbed, or? Okay, all right, we can do that. While all of this is going on, we can do what you were trying to look for. Whoever wants to go first, take a break.
Go ahead, Elle.
Elle's looking through the Plains book, looking specifically for information about planes and the creatures connected with the planes, but also if those creatures travel between planes on their own.
Okay. For this, because you're flipping through, it is a textbook, I'm going to get you to make an investigation check just to see how much you can glean in the time you have. So I'll say this is about 10 minutes of speed reading.
That's a 5.
A 5?
Yep.
So
4
you get
plus 1.
You get a little stuck on the chapter titles per section.
Damn it.
And you
reading any fantasy book and not knowing the names of where you're going.
Yeah. You definitely see you have the material plane, and there are subheadings like creatures normally found there, myths about the material plane, creation of the material. You get these kind of subheadings. So it does seem that as you go, the different sort of planes there's the elemental planes, there's the outer planes that are separated into the, boy, oh boy, here's my knowledge, the upper planes and the lower planes, if I have that right. You get a sense that there is an ecosystem, there is the inhabitants of each plane, that you get the sense that each of these separate planes does have their own set of creatures, of life forms, of habitat, of ecosystem. They are basically your material plane, just in a different realm of existence. But you do not get like any details, not with the 5 in the 10 minutes you're desperately trying to read through here. But one of the other things that you do see is a chapter called Planar Travel. So you do get a sense that there is indeed ways to travel between planes, in addition to there being creatures per plane. Aurora.
Yeah, so if I have a moment to pull out the book, I pull out the book. I reach down to like the long kind of shaft thing, tabard, not tabard, like hilt. What's the thing that sheath? The sheath that I have on my leg. As I'm reaching for it, a soft glow of white light kind of pours out the top of it. As I read through the book, looking for information about the intersection or the overlap between conjuration magic and necromancy. And then if I can find any spells or learning how to learn conjuration spells in the book.
Okay. So again, this is like a 10-minute time, so definitely make me an investigation roll to see how much you can glean here.
23.
Okay. Okay, so the intersection between necromancy and conjuration. As you're looking through this conjuration book, it is a, advanced conjuration for experts kind of thing. Like, it is very much a textbook as opposed to a paper exploring this kind of thing. But as you're looking through, you do immediately find the chapter that is fully related to these kinds of like other uses for conjuration almost. And it kind of branches into things like being able to mix conjuration and transmutation to kind of adjust the environment around you. Being able to kind of use or almost make tactile a vision that a diviner is having to actually see it as they're having, that kind of thing. And you get to the section on conjuration and necromancy, and these are like you're dealing with maybe 1 page per. It's that kind of a chapter. It's like your future direction sort of chapter. And you get to the page that's all about conjuration and necromancy. And you do read a lot of what you're reading in this case kind of reminds you of Maitland. Almost in the sense that conjuration and necromancy are very much used in things like seances, to try and contact and summon spirits to our world, something that can be seen and tactile, but something that once was that no longer is.
Perfect. Yo, Dean, I'm going to just keep this book. Cool?
But it is property of the avium.
Yeah, but I just considered it a long-term rental.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, fuck. It's an @1.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
We don't do long-term rentals. It's property of the avium, and when the missing pages are found, we're going to repair the book and put it back in the library. You're welcome to check it out anytime you like while you're here at the avium. Even in the future, you could be guests of the avium itself, but it's not allowed to leave. It's for our students.
If for some reason the book were to go missing on someone that was renting the book out, what would be the like replacement fee for said book?
The dean's eyes absolutely narrow at this. I'm going to assume that you will be very respectful of the property of the avium and what our students need to learn. And if you're interested in enrolling, you're more than welcome to.
Not really
learn.
the school type, but like I'm not going to steal it or anything. I was just looking if I could buy this book off of you.
Well, normally you have to order your textbooks in advance.
We don't have that kind of time. You said we're in a hurry. We got to go.
Well, perhaps you can get it ordered to the Alderheart. And yes, you are in a hurry.
All right then.
Find the missing pages and maybe ask again.
Okay.
You see him like gently tap on his wrist a couple times as he looks like deep into your face, just kind of memorizing you for a moment, Aurora, before. What else is it that you need to get this started?
Seems like
Dean, I have a question too.
Okay, we'll go with Elle, then Mrs. Q. Yes, my dear.
You said there was a student who reported that some of these skeletons acted strange. Can you tell us which student it was? Maybe we can go talk to them.
Yes, she is a very bright student. She is part of the School of Transmutation. Her name is Gel. Jelly
bean.
no. Jelly bean.
Jell-O.
Jello is her cousin.
She's a very hard worker, but right now I'd imagine she'd be in her dorm. If you want, you can, well, I will send a message to Gel and tell her to expect you if you're going to go and visit.
Could you tell her to meet us at the Professor Ravaine's office? We're in a rush, right? Kill two birds with one stone. Wink, wink.
I can ask her to do.
Oh, that's an awful saying.
You haven't heard that one before, Elle?
No.
It's
actually quite offensive.
But told.
There are birds in this world that aren't like bird folk.
There are non-sentient birds, yes.
What?
They're called dead ones.
For some reason, Aurora disappears in a poof of smoke.
Wow. That was so good.
Don't encourage them.
How about this? I will let Gel. Really don't want our students walking around the halls at night. Not with a thing that just attacked a student. So you all seem capable enough. Please watch the young one. I have no idea. You are young. I will have someone escort Gel to Professor. If that's where you're heading first.
Seems a good place to start.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. Oh, I guess you need to get out of here, don't you? You can see as the what you didn't notice was that after the security guard, the bald eagle left with Sage and with lemongrass. Oh boy, these herbs. The doorway to the doorway to the dean's office just almost melded into the wall, melded into the bookcases themselves. And as the dean just starts to walk back and rub his hand over the wall, it reappears and he pushes it open to reveal a staircase. Not unlike the one that you came up, but just a little bit brighter instead of the one in the avium itself. Professor Ravaine's office we are at the...
Oh.
We are near the top of the avium right now. Are you okay?
Oh, sorry, my elbow dribble.
We're near the top of the avium right now, and Professor Ravaine is most likely up in one of our branches at the very, very top of the tree itself. He does like to get some open air underneath the starry sky when he's trying to make sense of his vision, so that's where you'll find him. It'll be the only tower with, well, lanterns lit. Everything else is kind of locked up for the night. I'll make sure Gel is there. Well, when you're done, at some point. You'll hear from me. Good luck. And thank you. We're grateful for your help. Okay, what you get? Go, go, go.
Before we go, just question. The book that Aurora was wanting, did she hand it back to the dean, or where is that book right now?
I don't have it.
Yeah, so it would have been like on the dean's. It would have been the way I'm picturing the office. It would have been on that high-backed chair that the dean was sitting in.
Ella's gonna whisper to Aurora, distract him. And she's gonna go over and try to steal the book.
There it is.
Yeah. Somebody had to.
Okay, hold on a second.
And Steph is hoping that if there's a good enough distraction, she might be able to roll with advantage.
Well, we'll see about whatever distraction here.
How quiet were you when you said, I want to steal that?
Something to tell you.
Well, I imagine
Okay.
Elle would have been close to Aurora because they would have been looking at the books at the same time.
Alrighty, so what's your distraction, Aurora?
Dean, do you trust the diviners, so to speak?
Do I trust?
Well, this Ravain, you said he's like very esteemed. Like, are you into like diviners? Because I purport myself to be a bit of a diviner myself. I was wondering if you'd be interested to have your fortune read.
You can see as the dean sort of looks a little confused, just kind of like stroking the iridescent feathers on his neck, right above the nape of his cloak. He kind of, yeah. I have never been good at divination, but I do take a lot of stock in what Professor Ravain says, and I'd be interested to see certainly how you would.
So
I would like to know if you are actually going to be able to help us with this.
Hopefully.
Your parents can give us a yes or no. That would be great.
Absolutely, I will help you with this, and hopefully, not only will your fortune lead to some hopeful insights to yourself, but may even extend some help in our journey before us today, right now.
Perfect.
I don't feel safe going out without doing this, so I start drawing, shuffling my deck, drawing cards, and I'd like to tap into the spirits, and you see like them start to glow a little green with like the Maitland spirit wrapping around the cards, and I'm going to use one of my Tales from Beyond to fuse into this.
Perfect.
Oh, interesting. So, jeez. Okay. So the first card I draw is, very interesting. It's an image of a gerbine shrouded in mist. This card represents fear. What does that evoke in your? Just think to yourself. You don't have to tell me, but something fearful. What could be fearful to you? As I say this, I also subtly cast detect thoughts.
Ooh.
Are you digging?
No, just surface thoughts. Hoping that the cards will bring forward the thoughts related to the cards.
Okay.
That's how they do it. No.
Okay. So you cast detect thoughts very subtly on the dean.
Mm-hmm.
As you flip it over, and it is the gerbine shrouded in mist. You can even see his eyes go a little bit wider, and you get a flashback of, in the dean's mind, almost this. It's not so much a thought as it is just like a memory, an image of Sage shivering wet in the cloak when he found you on the stairs, and just like okay, I'll have to ask Professor Ravain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you kind of get for now.
Right. I pull the second card to reveal it's like a location, like a field. It looks kind of a distant land. It looks abstract. Like This card here is the far traveling card. Speaking to a place that you yearn to go, whether it's to run away to or to hide. Do I get anything from that?
You get a sense of just like, it's a bit strange. Like a pondering, a very deep pondering is sort of what you get from that.
And then I draw the third card. Oh, this is very interesting indeed. And you see what looks like a black-faced card with a single red eye with like a gold filigree around it. This is the card of Dark Secrets.
Ooh.
Not sure what this means, but
Larry.
there you go.
Good
That
timing.
was such unfortunate timing. I'm sorry.
Love it. This is the card of Dark Secrets. Again, keep it to yourself, but think maybe this may lead to where we're going. And then I'll read the superficial thoughts of what this evokes them.
You just get like a whisper, just like necromancy. It has to be. It has to be.
Okay. And with my Tales from Beyond, Maitland is going to imbue Elle with the power to go invisible for a turn to give her advantage.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say the dean certainly has a soft spot for divination and fortune telling, so you had his attention. I'm not going to make you roll for that. That was a very good distraction in this case. He is very distracted. Easy enough for Elle to be turned invisible by an invisible Maitland. Okay, Elle, what are you doing?
I don't think Elle would have expected to be turned invisible, but she would have kind of tried to make her way over around to where the chair is, you know, kind of acting like she's looking at everything in the office, but kind of like getting over there, and she wants to try to like just grab the book and kind of put it under her cloak and like walk behind, kind of just hold it behind her. She doesn't have pockets or anything, but she's gonna try her best.
I love the
Kind of-
thought of you doing this totally invisible too.
Because I don't know if she would have realized. How would you tell you're invisible unless you like look at yourself?
I'm gonna have to back that up. I looked at the wrong one. So you're not invisible.
Oh,
You
but
have the
I
ability
think
to.
I'm
You can
invisible.
misty. You get one use of Misty Step.
Pretty good.
that's also pretty good.
Okay, and Matt, Misty Step's what, 30 feet?
30 feet.
How big is this office?
God, I suck at measurement. Love, how big is this?
Our basement is about
That's probably 30 feet.
10 squares.
Tens what?
I think our basement's
You
probably.
are the worst assistant.
I don't think our basement's 50
This
feet
room
long.
is 14 feet wide.
Yeah.
Actually, less than
Ours is
that.
probably
12. It's 12 feet wide.
twice
An
as big as
office,
that.
yeah.
So okay, yeah. So it's about 30 feet.
Yeah.
It's a circular 30-foot office. I need to know what you're doing first.
Well, again, she's gonna try to go over and just kind of take the book. Would she know she can suddenly like Misty Step out of here, or? Okay.
I'm gonna, because you can't even feel anything with Maitland. So
Oh.
Eric, unless you say anything there. Oh,
No, there's other things, but I don't want to do that.
okay. You can't. Pardon me. I'm gonna say you probably don't know because it's not like it's a touch on your shoulder that you can feel from Maitland. This would more just be this is just a fun thing for right now. But all right, you do try and creep over. I'm gonna need a stealth check. And because the dean's distracted, you can make it
A stealth check? Okay.
If you're trying to stealth your way over.
No, I was more gonna hope to like kind of I'm walking around like I know people can see me. I was just gonna try to be sneaky when I took the book.
This will encompass all of that because you are moving and
Okay.
the dean can
But-
see everything that's going on in his office. This is about you being inconspicuous, so I do need a stealth check at advantage.
An advantage though, okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. So I 17 plus 1, so 18.
Roll for the dean. Yeah.
I had a 6 on the other die, so
So yeah, with nary a sound and just almost just a very quietly tiptoeing, la-di-da-di-da, you are able to swipe the book from the dean's chair as he's listening to Aurora's fortune being told. As you finish up the fortune, Aurora and the dean kind of bristles again. Okay, that is enough. Out, all of you. Thank you again. Call me if you need me, but time to get moving. It's almost midnight. My goodness. If I'm going to be waking Jell, please be ready for her. Okay. Bye. As he starts to bustle back off and look for something on his very cluttered desk. Are we all doing okay to just push through until 10? Do we need a breather or okay? What are you guys doing?
Hey, Els, what did you want the distraction for?
just kind of walking with her hands behind her back under her cloak. It's like, oh, nothing.
Cool.
She just wants to wait till they're a little further from the dean's office to like whip it out. But
All right.
Mrs.
So where are
Q
we
is
headed?
out of the office because it feels like people haven't walked out of the office. Mrs. Q is leaving.
Where are we headed first?
We know where we're supposed to go.
She said the top branches, so presumably upwards.
A lit one, the only one with like candlelight or lantern light.
Okay.
I assume we had the direction then.
Yeah.
So as you go ahead, Elle.
I'm just wondering if we have to see Jell and are we going to go see Professor Ravine or are we going to see Professor Necromancy Man? Can't remember his name.
Nightseed.
Nightseed. Can we do all of this at once? Are they in the same place?
I don't think Nightseed and Ravane will be in the same place because it sounds like Professor Ravane is hanging out
He always does
up top.
late night things.
Yeah, not in his office. So maybe we'll head there first, chat with Jell when she arrives, and then head down to see if we can find Nightseed.
Right. So as you make your way up the avium trunk itself, this is a tree not unlike Alderheart, with the one exception of it is more of a petrified tree. The walls are more of a polished bone, very white, very pale. And the avium itself is devoid of any living branches. So as you make your way up, you get to one of the floors that you can basically see right through in some skylights towards a sky full of stars at the very top of this. And as you get to the top, you do see this very wide open space. Kind of looks to be almost a little bit storage, this ring of the tree itself, the full diameter of the avium. And you see staircases that extend very narrow, almost like spikes, up to towers on the very top of this tree. And as the dean had mentioned, you see one tower that currently has lanterns lit, not too far away from the main staircase you used to get up to this disc in the first place. But easy enough for you to find the lit tower. And as you slowly make your way up to those, up the stairs, up to that tower, you start to hear a just a humming in two tones as you make your way to the top. If there's anything you'd like to do, just let me know. But you are able to walk in on what looks to be a wider space. It's about a 50-foot open air kind of platform at the very top. It is a little slick with rain from earlier, but it seems like the rain itself has been turned more into a mist instead of a downpour. And you see a younger Corvum, this almost purple indigo black feathers, kind of reflecting in the what?
Sorry, I'm just picturing a grackle.
Oh, pretty close. Kind of reflecting almost in the torchlight from below. They are wearing a cowl around their neck of a deep blue with robes of more of a purple tone to them. And I will send you a picture of Professor. Oh no, that was the Humblewood. There's a large, like clear blue crystal around their neck. Sort of looks a little bit familiar to you, Aurora, but you kind of get a bit of a glimpse of it, and then almost in a passing, as this figure is sitting cross-legged on the ground. You see in front of them, as you start to approach, a few candles that have been lit with what look like this magical green flame. And you see what looks like shards of bone with runes carved into them spread out in front of them. Their eyes are closed as they're sort of moving their hands over the space, unaware that you are there for right now. What do you do?
We have come.
That's not what I was expecting, but okay. As you say that out loud, the humming stops as the figure kind of holds. I was right in the middle of a ritual, so you better have a very good reason for interrupting me.
Sorry, I thought either one, you would have saw this coming, or two, the dean might have given you a heads up.
There
He was
it is.
sending out messages.
I knew it.
We're visitors.
We all hold up our pins.
Yeah.
This young Corvum kind of looks up. The dean knows not to send me messages after midnight. What is it that you would like?
Mrs. Q sort of waddles up to the front of the group. It just looks at Apoc and is like,
I was getting there.
you may not have heard the news, Professor, but a student this evening was attacked by a monster that has left her quite unwell. We have spoken to the dean, and apparently this is not the first time that strange happenings have occurred, and he says that you have experienced visions recently that may be a clue as to what is going on and how we could possibly stop it.
Right. I was in the process of trying to get another vision just like that. So perhaps you've actually come at the right time. Funny how fate works. Sit. Perhaps you can take part in this and make it clearer what it is I'm trying to see.
Slide up right
It's
next.
not as wet as it looks here.
It can be. I'm gonna slide up right next to. What? We all have magic. The professor, and like sit down, ready to participate.
Right. The rest of you can stand, I suppose. As the professor just starts to gather up the bones in front of him, he kind of pulls them, shakes them, takes a deep breath before gently throwing them out onto the ground, closing his eyes once more. And Aurora, you hear the mumbling under his breath as he speaks an incantation.
Yes.
Got it in one there. Yeah, as Professor Ravane goes to speak an incantation, he takes one more deep breath before his eyes open once more, and you see almost a glossy, good way to describe it is kind of like a cataract, where it's a glossy, cloudy film over his eyes. It's always the same vision. See? A black heart among all of ours. It's troubled and driven and guilty, but its methods are fuzzy, is what I can see. It's losing control. It has been for the past 5 weeks, and I have no idea what that means. You see the professor's eyes kind of close once more as he holds his hands, rubs them, before opening them up again, and you see the film has gone from his. It's always the same, and it has been. Nothing is ever clearer. Nothing is ever different about this one. You say a student was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
You unite. You have a stake in this, I see.
I do. It was my sister that was attacked.
The bonds that tie a family together are certainly some of the strongest, are they not? I take it that's why you're all helping.
Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Also some of the most troubling bonds.
Also very true.
The professor kind of leans back a little bit, a very kind of wry sort of look on his face. Does anything I said lead you to believe that this attack is relevant? I would very much like to stop having this kind of a vision.
Do you know where it's going to strike again next?
I don't see a creature in this vision. I see something familiar, if it makes sense. My guess is that it's not a creature so much as it is, well, a humble folk, a bird folk, just like you and I. But they don't belong wherever it is they are. And whatever they're trying to do isn't as pure as they think. That's my best guess. This creature, not sure how it fits. I would suggest being careful.
Have you been given any indication of what type of creature it may be? The one with the black heart?
Like I said, I don't think that one in particular is a creature.
Sorry, I mean what kind of thing? Like what kind of folk?
These visions started weeks ago, about 5 weeks ago, and we haven't had any change of staff. The middle of the school year, I can't imagine it's a new student, but something has changed here that is causing that vision. I don't believe that this is telling me there's something outside. Not the feeling that I get.
Are you aware of anything that may have changed in the 5 weeks? Not a student, not a professor, but something?
Not that I've seen.
This is a question.
Professor,
Yes.
how long have the skeletons been cleaning up the avium?
Skeletons are some of my favorite parts of the avian.
Really? They're really creepy.
They're creepy, but what's a little more creepy is that they were all ex-professors who want to serve the school after death.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
That's cool.
It was
Elle vomits.
yeah. Yeah, Eric's face. It was their dying wish that they continue to serve the school, so it has been a practice here at the avium. Well, since its inception, that should that wish be made, the necromancy professor puts them through the rites of becoming a servitor skeleton. See it in the future of many of our professors currently teaching.
Including you?
Looking at my own future is usually a bit
Macabre?
biased. I'm not one to shy from the macabre. You have to be all right with it. If you to the future, you might not see something. But
Wouldn't
you
want,
already know that.
wouldn't want it any other way.
You would make a fine divination student.
All right then.
I guess as a question for Eric, would you have told us about the whole like angel encounter in that conversation, or is that between
I don't
you
think
and...
we've had time.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see why I wouldn't, but maybe on like the walk over.
It could have been a walk and talk if you want. I'll definitely
Sure.
allow that to happen.
Yeah, I'm not hiding it from you.
I'm just thinking like I don't know if like that missing book from 5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it kind of coincides to the start of this. Do you think the book caused it? I don't know, the necromancy book, the one that the dean was talking about, and you're saying this other friend was looking for another book.
No, could be the same one.
What book would this be?
It's the
Aurora, you know better.
The Necrocomicon.
Oh no, it's the apothecary all over again. Right. Professor Nightseed.
Yeah, that's the one. Did you point us to their office?
Oh, Professor Nightseed is not allowed to practice her craft on the campus. So she's in one of the many towers floating about. That one there.
When they point towards it, how far away does it look?
How far away does it look?
Yes, please.
Oh. It is about
How many basement wins?
How many basement wins? No, this is you're gonna get it in metric. It's about 1.5 kilometers, like out from the tree itself, but it's like it's beneath you. Like you could
That's rude.
fall to it.
But like 1.5 kilometers?
1.5 kilometers, like on a diagonal down towards it.
Perfect.
Oh boy.
All right, no, leave me be. I'll be over here for 10 minutes.
Any other questions? I'm sorry, that's all I can give you from what I've seen. Visions are not always perfect.
is there any other small detail that you've seen in your visions that you could share us? Like this, even the smallest little detail might reveal something.
Professor kind of leans back. He picks up one of the bones. The iridescence of his feathers. It's actually like it's very beautiful in the sense of the sheen of his feathers, the uniqueness of him. As he kind of plays with one of the ruined bones between his talons. It's not so much something I see or something that I can tell from the vision. It's more of a feeling that I get when I have them. Like I said, it's like whatever this black heart is trying to do, whatever methods he's using, they're not in control of it.
Mm.
That's the feeling that I get. Feeling of just being sure but lost at the same time. It's a strange mixture.
Have you noticed any of the professors or any of your students acting particularly odd over the last 5 weeks that would coincide with the start of these visions?
He kind of chuckles to himself. Divination students, as you might imagine, are a little bit tricky to put through an examination. So yes, if you're asking if the students have been acting strange, they indeed have over the past 5 weeks. As for the professors, Professor Nightseed is a strange one. We get along very well. I've noticed her behavior is a little bit tense as of late. Over the past couple months, actually. And, well, Professor Mordain in the lower library, I personally think he spends too much time down there and not enough time in the fresh air. He seems to be getting weirder and weirder by the day. He's also not one for divination. Isn't the most productive conversation.
Okay. Well, we're sorry for having disturbed your quiet time up here.
It's actually perfect timing. You have another visitor. She's coming up the stairs. I do hope your investigation works out. As the professor kind of gathers up the bones, puts them in a pouch before essentially just walking to the opposite end of this turret and setting back up again. And Aurora, I'll let you know when your 10 minutes is up. You're getting to about halfway there now during this conversation.
Perfect.
As you see kind of walking up the stairs behind you, another security guard, campus security that you have not yet met, in the same light-colored armor with dark green stitching. And beside the security guard, you see a very small Luma. She's quite short. She is in robes that are far too long for her. They drag on the ground. She's looking a little disheveled, but her eyes are just huge as she's kind of like cracking her knuckles, looking around, shifting from foot to foot. Hi. You wanted to see me? The dean said you wanted to see me. It's not like I was up late studying or anything like that, so what do you want?
Exams are over.
Yeah, and then there's extra credit, and I have to do well. There is a 3rd-year potions class that I want to be in, and I'm only in 2nd year, so if I can get into that next semester, then I'm going to be golden. So what is it that you would like?
Apoc, give her some coffee. I think she needs it.
I was like, do I take a swig or do I give her a swig?
Either that or she's already had a lot of coffee this evening.
Glug, 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 glug. Yes.
Mrs. Q turns to Gel and says, we've called you this late because we wanted to hear a little bit more about the odd happenings that you saw recently that you reported to the dean. We are investigating these things. We're trying to find the source of it. Can you tell us a bit more about what you noticed?
Odd things happening. Odd things happening. There's a lot of odd things that happen here. Can you be a bit more specific? And can you speak a little bit faster? Because again, I don't have a lot of time.
Mrs. Q just smiles for a while.
Okay, girl, we're going through this. We're going through this fast.
Okay.
There was a kid that was attacked here. You don't know anything about that? Rumors spread through the school at all? Do you have any friends that are failing? Anybody who might like have a black heart, look worried, might be doing some weird, creepy shit, missing books, missing persons, missing skeletons doing weird things? What do you got?
Sorry. The last one.
Skeletons?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I saw the surge of skeletons doing some really, really weird stuff one day when I was studying, and I didn't know if I was just dreaming it because I had a lot of coffee that day. So I really wasn't sure, but I was really, really hyper-focused on my textbook. You know, they were exam season, so like you had to really. And I saw the servitor skeletons. They were just sweeping up. You know, I was headed back to my dorm, and I was trying to get some potion stuff that I needed because again, there's that third year class that I really want to go to. And I was just doing some extra reading as I was walking up the stairs, and I almost stepped on my scroll, so I had to look up to the servitor skeleton. And I saw them. Really, really freaky. They were just sweeping. They were sweeping along. And then all of a sudden they stopped and they turned around and they walked down the stairs. They just like dropped their brooms.
What?
I know. I need a drink of water.
Were they clapping at all?
Clapping? No,
Like,
they weren't.
Like their hands.
They were just like they were marching. You know, so I really wanted to figure out where they were going, even though I had to do it. So I figured out that I could read and walk down the stairs at the same time, and that was a lot easier than climbing the stairs and reading at the same time. And I followed them, and I followed them all the way down to the lobby, and then I followed them down to the lower library, but I couldn't go in because I don't have access.
The lower library.
Yeah.
Lower library.
You guys all talk so slow. I like you best.
Yeah, I've got coffee too. They don't have coffee.
Oh, that's sad.
You know, you can get these things that have unlimited coffee.
I will pay you 10 gold for that.
10 gold?
Apoc, don't you dare.
You can go buy one. It's not that. Okay, your next break, go to Big Tree, the living tree, the big one. And there's a girl there that has it. Look up Tabitha. She'll probably have one. She'll be able to get one for you.
But like, I need one now.
Oh, you don't?
Well, why not?
Okay, we're getting off track. You want to be a potions expert, girl? Make one yourself.
Any idea what the skeletons were doing in the lower library?
Sorry, say that again.
Any idea what the skeletons were doing in the lower library?
I don't know. I just thought it was weird. That's why I followed them. And I said, like I said, I could read and go downstairs a lot easier than I could go up. So it also wasn't too bad for me to actually go down the stairs because then I finished my scroll. And then by the time I got to my dorm, I could read a different scroll. But I do know that the servitor skeletons went down there. No idea what they do. Can't go in because I don't have access. And I'm really not interested in necromancy at all. So they actually kind of freaked me out a little bit.
What school robes is she wearing?
So she is wearing. Let me see. Hold on a second. So she is wearing a lighter, almost lime green set of school robes. And on the clasp on the cowl of her robe itself, you see abjuration, the symbol of abjuration. Is that it? Can I go now?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Thanks very much.
I just think it's cool. Your name is Jell and my name is Elle, and we're both Lumas.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You a student?
Maybe one day. I'm only 12.
Oh, cool. I'm only 13 and I'm already in my second year.
Fuck.
Can you demolish a town? Elle can demolish a town.
No?
It's not
But you don't get
something to
graded
brag
on
about
that.
Apoc.
I said you could, not that you did.
Abjuration is protecting towns, not demolishing them.
But if I wanted to, you could with the right potion, I'm told, but I'll learn it when I get into this third year class.
I think you're going to do very well.
I'm already doing very well.
You know what? You really should look up Tabitha. She makes her own potions.
Yeah, I'll remember that. It's like a steel vault in here.
Aw, that's too hard.
Apoc just kisses it better.
Okay, so can I go now? Because I still have like 5 more scrolls to read before 3 a.m. And then I have another 5 after that. So
Jesus.
Good night.
bye. And she walks a little faster than her security guard escort can keep up with as she goes down the stairs. You hear just like the snicker from Professor Ravain at the other end, who has definitely been listening to this. And Aurora, you're you still have like 2 more. No, I'm kidding. Your time is up on your spell. Your 10 minutes.
So, this spell can travel 1.6 kilometers, or 1 mile to be more accurate. And it's clairvoyance, where I can basically see into a space that I'm familiar with, which has been pointed out to me and is within my range. So I'm hoping to see, if possible, into Professor Nightseed's chamber.
Okay. And clairvoyance is either a sight or a hearing
Correct.
spell, right?
And I can switch between the two. So I'd like to start with
Oh,
sight.
you can. Cool. Okay.
But I can't do both at the same time.
Okay. This is neat. Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily say that the office is familiar to you, but it is an office in a school. So how unfamiliar could it be? So as you kind of hone in on clairvoyance and finish casting the spell, you feel your consciousness just sort of lifted up from inside your mind. There's this ease that kind of comes over you. And the next time you open, what do you want to start with?
Sight.
The next time you open your eyes, you are in a warmly lit chamber, just from the main fireplace, though. There are no torches on the walls, so there are very deep shadows along the walls of this office. It is a circular office. There are some low bookshelves, kind of about half of the wall up, but lining the entire circle of it. There is a desk that looks to have been carved out of the stone itself that this island is made out of. This tower is made out of, this floating tower. And you see a very old looking, what is this, Professor? You see a very old looking gallus there. So this is the rooster-ish folk of the land. They have a longer neck, similar to that of a turkey. Their feathers are this bleach white, with the exception of the feathers around their eyes that are a deep, deep red color. They are wearing little glasses that span over their nose, with a short black beak. They're in robes of deep black around the main part of their robes, stitched with a purple cowl. And you see very small little amulets of what look to be like small bird skulls, small mammal skulls that have been either embroidered or carved out of wood that adorn the shoulders of this professor. And I will send you a picture of what you see.
And then I guess
see the professor sitting at their desk,
okay.
reading.
Reading?
reading, is what it looks like.
Can I switch to hearing to see if they're reading out loud?
As you switch to hearing, you can definitely hear some murmuring. You can hear so this is what I've been looking for. This is something that maybe if I try this the next time on the spell, this could work. I feel like this might be the way to go. This could really push the boundaries of what we can do here. Perhaps it's something that the dean would let me try at least. Maybe if I show that it succeeds first, he'll be more receptive to it. This could work. This could work. This might make them a little more alive, I think.
So yeah, I'll because I can maintain this for 10 minutes as long as the group doesn't want to go on and do anything else. I'll just kind of eavesdrop as long as I can. Then you don't have to go through all of it, but that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I'll let you know I'll let you know what else you see within the 10 minutes, if anything, and I'll roll for it. So,
Professor
okay.
Nightseed's going rogue.
What does the rest of the group want to do?
Can we tell what Aurora's doing?
It looks like I'm fiddling with my my different components. Like I've got I was kind of working through like my deck of cards, but then I put those down and I pulled out my alphabet board and I put that down and I'm toying around with like some glass beads in my hand. They're almost like fist size, like a miniature seeing glass or a seeing orb that I'm just kind of holding in my hands.
So if Elle came over and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" and starts trying to rummage through things, can Aurora
I think
communicate it all right now?
I think so. Yeah, I don't see why I couldn't. Yeah, I can like see you guys too. Like I can see into both spaces. Like I'm still. It's not like I'm inhabiting this space. I just have like a webcam in this space.
You're wearing those like secret agent glasses where you can like also see. Okay.
No.
All right, I get it.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
Does anybody know what this book looks like? The one that's missing? Like any descriptions? Maybe, should we ask the professor? You might know. I was thinking the other professor might know, but if we're sitting up here for a little bit longer.
So there was books that were missing, and then there were pages out of books. But the
Yeah.
books that were missing were taken out of Nightseed's office.
I don't know. Aurora knows, maybe.
Well, it sounds like we're thinking that Nightseed was taking the pages, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah,
we need to go see Nightseed. Because she has a book separate to the pages being ripped out that apparently is powerful, dangerous, and I wants it.
And is it the dangerous book that Angel asked Aurora to get? Is
Yeah.
that the one that's been missing from the office?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes.
We're at the very top, right? We're in the open at the top. Can I look out and see if there's anything weird going on?
Yeah, certainly. You're at the very, very, very top of the ABM here.
Yeah.
And you're able to kind of go and look out. It's very much like the top of a crenellation. You're able to kind of go and look out. The tree itself is very smooth to the touch under your hands. And as you go and look over, it's quite a view from here as you see the as you see the four main biomes, these massive floating islands with what looks to be like a glass dome over top, floating gently around the ABM itself. You see one that is just fully covered in what you make out to be sand dunes. You see another that is the most lush green that you've ever seen. You see another with what looks like a massive body of water and a lighthouse in it. And you see another with what looks like cathedrals, these massive feats of architecture that you don't really recognize from around here. And additionally, you see a handful of other smaller islands, these towers, not unlike the one that Aurora is currently spying into. Smaller islands made mostly out of stone or earth with single round turreted towers on each, slowly orbiting around the main.
I don't need to roll perception or anything.
You can roll perception to see if you're looking for anything that's amiss. Yeah. But you are quite high up.
14.
So, I mean, the night has become quite calm, if not a little misty. You don't see, everything seems to be very gently lit. You can see torchlight from some windows, torchlight from some of the biomes, but nothing, no more screams. Nothing seems to be strange.
Do we know, in terms of where we are, where Sage was attacked, and then where Professor Nightseed's tower is, like where we are in terms of like distance in relation to one another? Like, does
Yep.
it make sense? Like, oh, we're actually very close to where Sage was attacked, or?
So Sage was attacked at one of the bridgeways around the middle of the trunk, so about halfway up the trunk of the, of the avium. You are currently at the very top of the trunk. And as for these orbiting towers, it does look like they orbit. They don't go up and down in their orbit. They're very much a completely level orbit around the avium itself. Now, well, you got the Professor Nightseed's tower was pointed out to you. So you can see Professor Nightseed's tower is one of the taller ones, like it's only 1.5 kilometers away from you. So it's one of the ones closer to the top. And it's, because it's closer to the top, it's not the bridgeway that you found Sage on. That one is more towards the middle.
Which would mean that this, whatever this thing was that attacked her, would have had to travel. If we deduce that maybe it came from Nightseed, then that's quite a long distance to have traveled.
To travel quickly, yes, you can make that deduction. Additionally, it would have had to make its way from the main avium to a floating tower. And the only way to do that, as far as you know, you could glide if you are a bird folk with feathers and wings. Or it's through, you have to wait until the tower contacts one of the bridgeways to form a bridge. And that only happens for about 10 minutes every 15 minutes. So.
Interesting.
What do we make of the skeletons going to the lower library? Mrs. Q, did the professor down there, did he have anything to do with the skeletons?
He didn't mention the skeletons at all, which, now that I think about it, is a little curious, because I did ask him if there had been anything weird happening that would suggest that someone may have taken the pages of the book that I had looked in. So perhaps we do need to speak to him again, because I feel like that's the sort of thing that you would mention if things had gone missing. You know, a army of skeletons.
Yeah, but apparently Nightseed commands the skeletons, right?
Correct.
And she's not allowed to practice magic on campus. So is it kind of weird that they let her control magical skeletons on campus, but they won't let her?
Unless it's sort of something that, you cast it once. It kind of sounds like, from what Professor Ravane was saying, that they go through some kind of ritual, the professors that turn into these skeletons, before they die, so that the skeletons become obedient and alive-ish afterwards.
Mhm.
So maybe it's not something that needs to be maintained per se.
Just to clarify that point, quite just like really quick, it's after they die that their skeletons are turned into.
Oh, all right.
If they wish, yeah, not before. It's all done after. Sorry,
Oh,
continue.
okay. And yeah, then I don't know.
So do we recommend going to Professor Nightseed first, and then possibly back to the professor in the lower library, or the other way around? What do we think?
We got two options. Let's go. Let's put it to a vote for the group. Apoc, Nightseed or library?
Nightseed.
Basil,
Nightseed.
Mrs. Q,
Library.
Elle.
Elle also wants to go to the library.
Wow.
Oh,
Damn it.
Why don't Mrs. Q and I go to the library and you guys can go to Nightseed and we'll meet you in the middle?
Sounds great. Split the party. Nothing bad ever happens.
Never split up the party.
I think it's a great idea.
Oh dear.
We can split up the party.
Where does Aurora want to go?
I think Aurora would like to go to Nightseed.
let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Splitting up the party?
I guess so.
And we're in a school. What
Cute.
bad could happen?
Mrs. Q, why don't we get Professor Aveen to get us one of the security campus to walk us to the library?
Oh, foot patrol. Okay.
We're on limited time, so
Yep. Okay. Sure. We'll just split the party and hope no one dies. No problem.
Well,
It's okay, we got the cleric.
You have a way of contacting us if something goes wrong, right? You did it last time.
Yeah, I did do it last time. So yes, I suppose I do.
You haven't used your Misty set. If anything, Elle, you know that little story that I was telling about the dean, the crusty old dean? Well,
I don't think he was that bad, but yeah.
Part of that story imbued magic into you. So at least for the little while, if you need to get out of a jam, just think of where you want to go, and you can teleport about 30 feet. And if you can see Mrs. Q, you can take her with you.
Ooh.
Oh.
You can only use it once, so be careful.
So if I say use it to get through into somewhere that was locked, I couldn't use it to get back out.
Correct. So
Okay.
It's just to get away, just to stay safe. I don't want to see you getting hurt if we're gonna go to 2 different places.
Somehow I just imagined just like as soon as you explained it, I was just like, oh, like this, and then you're gonna use it.
Yeah, imagining
I was
that
like,
as well.
no.
Yeah.
I'm frustrating myself because it's like, yeah, that's something she very well might do. But if she's told enough, don't do it. But
I think we were all picturing that.
Yep.
For Elle.
So as a decision is made, go ahead, Elle.
hey, Aurora, and I was gonna like pull out the book. If you're gonna go see Nightseed, maybe you can ask more about whatever it was in this book that you really wanted to.
Al, you little thief! You're not supposed to steal stuff from the university, especially if you're trying to get in here.
Well, I figure we're gonna have to go see the dean again, and I can just say, "Oh, look what I found," and just pretend. We're not I mean, unless we want to take it off of the property, but right now, just
that's so dishonest. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, if you're going back to the library, maybe that's something you should hang on to. As much as I'd love to see what's in there, as much as I like a cop to keep it, you gotta do the right thing.
Is there a way that you can copy it or write down the stuff in it?
You are a fast reader.
I am.
You could have some coffee and go really fast.
Just keep it with you for now, and then when we go to see the dean, I'll just give it back to him. This way you get it for a little bit longer.
Okay. Can't say no to you. I don't feel good about this.
Weren't you friends with Cam?
Yeah, I kept him in check.
Hey, that's what I did.
The whole group just looks at him like, really?
Really? That's what Apoc did?
You sure?
And he thinks he did.
Yeah, there we go. That's better. God.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah, and we're not in trouble with the book yet, so
The book's gonna give us trouble.
Let's go. Oh, books can get you into a lot of trouble.
I find it funny that one of the issues that we're having is there's a book that's missing pages, yet members of our group have actively been ripping pages out of the book.
And stole books.
That's so funny.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. You got a 50-50.
I'm now accessory to a crime. I don't know how I feel about this.
Again, weren't you friends with Cam?
All right, let's go. Let's make this quick.
All right. All right. So as we approach the midnight mark, we can't see the moon due to the fact that it did rain and it is clouded over. And as we make the decision to split the party, I need Constitution saving throws from everybody.
Because it's midnight?
Because it's midnight.
15.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to give me a minute. I haven't looked at my sheet all night.
That's okay.
I got a 7.
Thought you could get away with not rolling a session.
7.
7.
Okay.
Con save?
Con save.
18.
Okay.
Oh, con save? 9.
Almost.
Almost.
Two things.
You take a point of exhaustion, Elle.
Oh, we got a cranky kid.
11 for Mrs. Q.
21.
Okay. All right. So far, everyone except for Elle, you're a little tired, but you're doing just fine. Elle, it's getting late.
Oh, this is not good, especially since we're on our own.
And as those feelings start to creep up, getting closer to midnight, it is getting close to, well, it is almost 10 o'clock. So we will end the session there for tonight.
Oh boy.
Thanks for sticking with the very role play heavy couple sessions here, guys.
Love it.